Electric F404 turbofan engines powering into the air. The Boeing A18C Hornet on the Finnish Air Force. The aircraft airborne, turns right slightly just to capture the 230 metre line, waiting for 250 knots, that first spectacular pull and push. We'll see another one of those a little later on, described later as the Cobra. There with a very snappy derry turn, expecting him to accelerate to 300 knots, the inverted pass. Aircraft there, in particular from the wing extensions or the cheeks which go either side of the canopy. The reason they are coming off is because they produce lift and contribute about 10% to the overall lift of the aircraft. Now, we mentioned this a little while ago, he's sitting up here for the Cobra manoeuvre, which the Finns also call the hat. It's not a large lead a lot of speed, lead about 100 knots depending on how long the old vehicle goes. So you've got to be absolute recovery as possible once you've let the planes go. This is the most potent combat aircraft in the Finnish Air Force inventory. They've got 2 squadrons of these. This aircraft comes from Fighter Squadron 11, stationed at Rovaniemi, which is part of Lapland Air Command. Snappy aileron roll there, demonstrating about 360 degrees per second. One of the fastest, but not the fastest here today. The fastest aileron roll is coming from a very different aircraft later on this afternoon. Thus now, at the slow, around 120 to 130 knots here, at a height of 400 feet and about a 25-degree angle of attack, Mark. Yeah, so the angle of attack is basically the difference between where the nose is pointing and where the aircraft is going. The slower you go, the less lift is produced, therefore the angle of attack has to be increased in order to sustain level flight. That's capable of the sort of manoeuvring that you'd almost expect of one of the modern vector thrust fighters like the F-22 Raptor, for example. Yes, with the advanced fly-by-wire system that the midlife update gave this aircraft, it really is. That last turn, that 90-second turn took about 4 seconds. Yeah. That was super. Very, very impressive indeed. Of course, NATO now, Finland now a NATO member since 2023, and they've been really heightening their involvement in the alliance with their FA-18 Hornet force ever since they sent 4 Hornets off to Romania for the NATO air shielding mission alongside RAF Typhoons that same year. And earlier this year, they deployed Hornets to Iceland for the first time to undertake the Quick Reaction Alert air defence mission and air policing in Iceland, which doesn't have any fighter aircraft of its own, for the first time. The Hornets gradually being retired from Finnish service with the advent of the F-35A Lightning II, of which Finland is buying 64, but nonetheless, this an exceptionally impressive performer. In the hands there of Captain Petteri Kairinen from Fighter Squadron 11 of the Finnish Air Force, the FA-18C Hornet.